Okay, review time in multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. So as you remember, when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. That means numerator times numerator, so 9 times 3 is 27. And denominator times denominator, 10 times 5 is going to be 50. Now, can we simplify 27 over 50? And yes, you're right, we cannot because there's no other number that we can divide evenly into 27 and 50. There's no common factor that we can divide into these two numbers, 27 and 50. So this is the right answer. Now, if you need a review on simplifying fractions, please watch my other videos as well. Now, number 2. Let's do 5/7 times 14 over 25. So here's the thing. If you multiply this straight across, that means you need to do multiply multi-digit numbers. So that means you need to multiply 14 times 5, and you need to multiply 25 times 7. Now, you don't have time for that, right? Well, if you do, then do it. If you don't, there's another way. The other way is this. I'll show you. The other way is, let me rewrite that. So, because I'll show you the two ways. 5 over 7 times 14 over 25. We cross simplify, or the other term is cross cancel. So we think about the numerator and its opposite denominator. And ask yourself, what number can we evenly divide into 5 and 25? Is there a common factor of 5 and 25? And we know it's going to be 5, right? It's like simplifying. So 5 divided by 5, that will give us 1. 25 divided by 5, that will give us 5. Now, let's move on to the next numerator and opposite denominator. So what is the common factor that we can divide evenly into 7 and 14? And we know it's going to be 7, right? So 7, and the other one is 7. So 14 divided by 7 gives you 2, and 7 divided by 7 is 1. Now we can multiply straight across. So 1 times 2 will give us 2, and 1 times 5 will give us 5. And we are done. See how fast that was? And we are dealing with smaller numbers. Now, if you're gonna not want to use this cross simplifying, and if you want to multiply straight across, I mean, that's okay, but look at how much work you need to do. So 5 times 4 is 20, carry 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 70. So our numerator is 70 over 5 times 7 would be 35. So carry 3. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3, that's going to be 17. And that's over 175. Now we need to simplify. So let's think of a number that we can evenly divide to 70 and 175. And we know it's going to be 5. There you go. It could be 5. It could be something else too. So, but most students will think, oh, it's going to be 5. So 70 divided by 5, then that means we need to do what? Long division. So you're going to do 70 divided by 5. It's going to be 1. And then this is going to be 5 minus then 2. It's going to be 4. So now it's going to be 14 over, now let's do long division for 175 divided by 5. So 5 can go into 1 0 times. 5 can go into 17. How many times? 3 times. So that's going to be 15. Then subtract that. It's going to be 25. 5 can go into 25 5 times. It's going to be 25. So the answer is 35. It's going to be 14 over 35. Now, there's more work to be done because it's not the least, it's not the simplified form. We can still simplify this by dividing 14 and 35 by common factor is 7. And that's going to be 2 over 5. So we still get the same answer as what we did earlier. But the second option that you did it takes longer than the first one. So I would choose this one right here. Woohoo. Now let's do number 3. For number 3, let's try to do 7 and 2/5 times 3 over 7. All right, so if we have this, let's change the mixed number into an improper fraction. It's easier. So the denominator times the whole number is going to be 35. 5 times 7 is 35. Then add the numerator. That's going to be 37 over 5 times 3 over 7. Now, can we cross simplify these? Is there a common factor for 3 and 5? No. Aside from 1, there's none. Is there a common factor for 37 and 7? There's none. So we just multiply straight across. We have no choice. So that's going to be 5 times 7. We know it's going to be 35. And what is 37 times 3? So we do 37 times 3. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 2. That's going to be 11. So our numerator is 111 over 35. Now, if it is a mixed number, we need to make sure, if it's an improper fraction, we need to make sure to change it into a mixed number. Now, how do we do that? Long division. All right, let's do long division. So 101 divided by 35. Now, how many times can 35 go into 1? 0 times. Next digit, how many times can 35 go into 11 now, the two digits? It's going to be 0 times. How many times can 35 go into 111? So let's see. We know that 35 plus 35 gives you 70. If you add another 35, that should give you 105. So that means 35 can go into 111 3 times. 3 times 35, that should give you 105. Now subtract. So if we subtract, can we take away 5 from 11? Nope. So that's going to be an 11. This will be 0. So now 11 minus 5 is 6. Now, whatever is the remainder, that will be your what? Yes, exactly. This will be your numerator. So the top, this quotient would be your whole number. So our mixed number will be 3 as a whole number over, and whatever is your remainder will be your numerator. So this will be 6. And then this right here, your divisor will be your, denominator. So our answer is 3 and 6 over 35. And we are done. See how easy that was? Now let's do number 4. Let me scroll this down. I want a clean sheet. Now let's do number 4. Number 4, let's say we have 2 and 3/4 times 3 and 1/3. You can pause the video, solve it yourself, and then play it afterwards. You're done. So change to improper fraction. So 4 times 2, that's going to be 8, plus 3, that's going to be 11 over 4. The denominator stays the same. Now 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1, that's going to give you 10 over 3. And don't forget that division sign. Now, let us do cross simplifying. Is there a number that we can simplify with 11 and 3? Nope. There's no factor that can evenly divide into 11 and 3. Now, let's use green now. There a factor or a number that can evenly divide into 4 and 10, a common factor for 4 and 10. And we know it's going to be 2. So we divide this by 2. I'm just show you how I'm dividing. So 10 divided by 2 will give you 5. 4 divided by 2 will give you 2. Now we can multiply straight across. We can say 11 times 5 gives you 55 over 2 times 3 will give you 6. Oh, it's an improper fraction. Now we need to change it into a mixed number. Okay, mixed number. 55 over 6. So let's do our long division. So 55 over 6. We don't have to. If you already know how many times 6 can go into 55, that's fine. How many times? You know it's going to be 9 times, right? Because 9 times 6 is what? 54. What's the remainder? 1. So that's the remainder, and we are done. But if you want to do the long division, I will show you. Can 6 go into 5? No. Now let's join these two digits. Can 6 go into 55? Yeah. How many times? 9. How do you know? Because I know my multiplication facts. So 9 times 6 is 54. There you go. Subtract 1. Now remember, your quotient or your answer is your whole number, and your remainder is your numerator, and your divisor would be your denominator. And voila, we are absolutely done. Now let's do number 5. So number 5, let's have 5 and 7, 12 minus 1 and 5, 6. But wait, you said that we're going to be multiplying. And we are. I'm not done yet. So times 4 and 4, 5th. So if we have this, what should we do? We need to do what? Are we going to multiply right away? Nope. Order of operations, we need to do what's inside the parentheses. Since we have a parentheses, that's why we need to do the operation inside the parentheses. PEMDAS, right? So let's do 5 and 7, 12 minus 1 and 5, 6. And what do we know when we are subtracting mixed numbers? It's easier to change this into a improper fraction. So let's do that, okay? So let's do this first. So 5 times 12 is 60 plus 7, that will give you 67 over 12 minus 6 times 1 is 6 plus 5 is 11 over 6. So this is our improper fraction now. Then, of course, times 4 and 4/5. I should have changed that into improper fraction. I'll do that next. So now, remember when we subtract fractions, we need to have the same denominator. And what is the common factor of, not common factor, but what is the least common multiple of 12 and 6? What's the common denominator? And that's going to be 12, exactly. So it's going to be over 12. So what did you multiply to 12 to get 12? Just times 1. So whatever you do at the bottom, you do at the top. So 67 times 1 is 67. Don't forget the subtraction sign. What did you multiply to 6 to get 12? They're going to be 2. So you multiply 11 by 2. That's going to be 22. That's inside the parentheses. Now let's change this into an improper fraction too. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 4 is 24 over 5. Now, what is 67 minus 22? And that should give you 45 over 12, then times 24 over 5. Now, let's apply our cross simplifying or cross cancellation, okay? What number can we evenly divide to 5 and 45? What is the common factor of 5 and 45? And we know it's going to be 5. So we divide by 5, and we divide this by 5. This gives us 9, and this gives us 1. Now, let's try the other numerator and its opposite denominator. What is the common factor or the greatest common factor of 12 and 24? Now, some of you might say, oh, it's going to be 2. It can be 2. It can be 6. But it's easier when we do the greatest common factor, which is 12. So make sure you can use your multiplication chart or memorize your multiplication facts. So it's going to be 12 and 12. So 24 divided by 12, that will give us 2. And 12 divided by 12, that will give us 1. Now we can multiply straight across. 9 times 2 is 18 over 1 times 1 is 1, or our answer is 18. Voila, we are done.